Yes, and she'll tell you straight. So
Were there many instances of this, or was this the only instance? The one instance relating to the Section 27 referral?
To me, Chair, it was only that one instance of the 27. Like I said, I've known Advocate Johnson for many years, and we've had, even though we never worked in the same office, but we've always had a very cordial and good relationship when we met in conferences and so on. And I've known her to be a very good prosecutor, hard worker, and when she came in as a manager at IDEC, the management was, for me, of a very high level.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
At 46, in my first trial preparation note, I raised, among others, the following questions to the team, but all these are covered in my email. 46.1.
Perhaps as opposed to reading the summary, we can go to the actual annexure. If we can go to PS3,
Okay.
you'll see it starts with the email,
With the email.
that you sent to Ms. Sekukuni, who is the PA to the ID, where you brought this memo to her attention. And then below that would have been the email you sent to the team members, wherein you gave them Saturday homework while you went and watched a nice game, I see. And then the next page, on page 25, would be where you deal with your concerns. Can we go there?
Yes, Council, you'll see, I agree. You'll see at page 24, it's my email. Actually, the first email will be the last one.
Yes.
You'll see I sent it at 2:51 on the Saturday to the team members, Advocate Lajwayo, Advocate Ramsemi, Mr. Brian Padayashe, Chief Investigator Daylan Perumal, Investigator Charles Eels, Investigator Patrick Mlambo, and I also copied the project manager, Mr. Sepotale. I reference the subject as trial preparation, note 1. Colleagues, here is your Saturday homework. I'm knocking off now to watch Pirates and Sundowns, PS. It was 2:51. I've been in the office since in the morning.
Can I just ask a question? What's the difference between a project owner and a project manager? Because we've encountered Mr. Tlale's name before as a project manager.
Yes. The difference, Commissioner Baloyi, is that Mr. Tlale is one of the 4 project managers that we have. They are involved right from the beginning of the case. They prepare our monthly reports. They are also a link between us and HR in terms of where we need resources, and they also prepare some documents, some 28s when I prepare a memo or an application, and once it's settled, they are the ones that forward same to the office of the ID, and when we receive a report back, they do a lot of work in the team. They help with the preparing for the budget of the team. When we're traveling, they are the ones who prepare memos for traveling, and when we need resources like computers and memory sticks. So they manage the whole project in that sense.
So we're in I think we've encountered Mr. Tlale and we've had a discussion about him where his name appears in a summons, and it says inquiries.
Yes.
My direct question to you is, does he make the decision, I want a summons, and then he prepares the application, or his is an administrative function?
No, it's more of an administrative function.
Okay.
Commissioner, he doesn't make that decision lies solely with the DDPP.
Okay.
On what type of investigations do we go after consulting the team?
Yes.
Whether we go at 2813 or 2818. Project managers do not make those decisions. Yes.
Thank you.
I'm copying him because he must know what we're busy with, what we're doing. He keeps the file of this matter. So that is why I wanted him also to know that investigations are still outstanding in this matter. And when we're doing a case plan, he must file those. Everything that we do, the project manager must know. So I sent them this email, and the email had an attachment containing queries, and later the very same day at 3:58, I forwarded it to Ms. Innocent Sekhukhune. You'll see the message to Ms. Sekhukhune has an attachment document 1.docs. The email, the document, that is my document, is now on page 25 with the heading, Dear Team, 1. I have just finished reading the first docket, Brook Lane case, in bracket, General Khumalo and others. 2, starting from Monday, I want to sit with the prosecutors, Drew and Joy, to start working on refining the charge sheet, to have it ready for the bail condition amendment application on 22 August and for disclosure. 3, as part of our preparation for the case, the response to the application for further particulars, in bracket, which I'm sure we are going to be served with in due course, and preparation for the trial, I want to know the following, in brackets, the questions are directed to all the team members, I was saying. 3.1, why were the accused charged with corruption? 3.2, who corrupted whom? 3, do we have evidence in the docket to prove allegations of corruption against any of the accused? If so, what evidence is that? 3.4, do we agree that in terms of PRECA, the Corruption Act, the giving and or accepting of a gratification should be for a certain aim or objective? PRECA uses the word, in inverted commas, in order to act personally or by influencing another person so to act in a manner described in Roman figures 1 to 4. 5, that means a person gives another a gratification and the other one accepts or receives in order to act in an unlawful manner, as out in Roman figure 1 to 4. 3.6, now following paragraphs 3.4 and 3.5 above, why did these generals in the SAPS go out of their way, rig the appointment process, risk their jobs, and flaunt the National Instruction 11 of 2017 to appoint a 29-year-old inexperienced civilian to the rank of brigadier in crime intelligence? I'm asking the question, who is this young lady, in bracket Mokwele, for whom 6 generals in the SAPS are risking losing their jobs for? What did the generals stand to gain or expect to gain, in bracket quid pro quo, by giving her gratification, which is the position or the job? What did they stand to gain? I don't have that evidence in the docket. 3.8, what are we saying? Are we saying the generals gave Mokwele a position, stroke a job in crime intelligence in order for Mokwele to do the following? To do what? I'm asking them. What did Mokwele have to do in terms of Roman figure 1 to 4 of PRECA? 3.10, did she give or promise to give any quid pro quo to the generals? In law, she does not have to, but there must at least be an understanding between Mokwele and the generals that the job is given to her for a particular unlawful reason, in brackets, in order for her to act unlawfully as set out in Roman figure 1 to 4. She was just a young lady occupying an ordinary position at BMW at the time. I cannot see that there was anything she could offer to these generals, in brackets, except giving them cash as a thank you, or if she was having a relationship with one of the male panel members, stroke generals. I'm trying to find out why are they giving him a job which, according to the state, she was not deserving to get, and what did she do in return, or what was expected from her? 12, did the team subpoena the bank accounts of the generals and Mokwele to ascertain if she did not make any payments to them for giving her a job? If not, why not? 3.13, were the cell phone records of the generals and Mokwele obtained and analyzed for any communication relating to the application for the post, preparation for interviews, or discussions about payments? If not, why not? 3.14, were computers that were used by the generals during the period in question seized and or mirror imaged to look for communication between them and Mokoele, or, in brackets, or anyone related or associated with Mokoele, prior to or during and after the interview process? If not, why was this not done? 3.15, did the team investigate any possible family relations between Mokoele and any of the generals that formed part of the panel? Paragraph 4, colleagues, the appointment of this young lady to such a position does not make sense and is suspicious, but suspicion alone is not enough. There is a reason why she had to be appointed, and that reason is our answer. It is the quid pro quo. We must look for it, I'm saying. Paragraph 5, otherwise we remain with fraud regarding the flaunting of processes to appoint her. Yes, her shortlisting and eventual appointment was fraudulent because she was inexperienced, in brackets, which was one of the requirements for the position. Many other applicants were disqualified for lack of managerial experience. How did she make it to the top 5 and eventually top 3? 6, she also made misrepresentations in her CV, in brackets, I'm saying fraud. The investigator should follow up the validity of the project management certificate at Stellenbosch University. 7, she also claims to have been top of her class in her first year studies for MBA. She does not say where she was registered for the MBA and whether she eventually completed it. I must say later, with the investigation, it became clear that she had finished the MBA. So that information was secured after I've raised all these questions. But when she submitted the application, she only completed it after submitting the, I think a month after, in May 2024, whereas the application was in
But let me just correct you there, because in her application on page 265, that very issue you are raising, she did say that she's still busy with the MBA and she will only complete it. If you look at page 66, bottom of the page, it is expected. So at the time of submission, she did not have it, and she said so in her CV. And in fact, in her job application on page 263, the only 3 qualifications she lists as being relevant to her application. In other words, she says, I have this many other qualifications, but they are not necessary for this application, because what the job requirements, what the job description requires is these 3. And then she lists all 3 of them on page 263 of file 2. She says BTech industrial engineering, and then she says the national diploma in mechatronics, engineering mechatronics. So she was saying to SAPS, for the purposes of my application, you need only look at these 2, because that's what the advert requires. I have these other things, but they are not relevant to the application. So she made that very clear. There should have been no reason to go look for things that she's not relying on for the purposes of the application. They are mentioned only in her CV because she gives a full description of what she's doing and what she's all about.